Most sellers in Flower Mound are doing this one thing without even realizing it, and it's stopping buyers before they ever step inside.
We almost skipped the house that we're currently living out because of this one thing that the sellers didn't address whenever they listed their home for sale. But since we were able to look past it, we got a really good deal on a home that fit our needs, and we were able to make our own.
Today we're showing you the #1 curb appeal mistake that people are making here in Flower Mound that are killing sales, and what to do instead so that way the buyers will stop, walk in, and want to make a great offer. The biggest curb appeal mistake that we're seeing right now in Flower Mound is letting the front yard look neglected.
And what do we mean by neglected? Well, we're going to show you exactly what we mean and practical ways that you can apply it to your home. Now, before we get in the details, we wanted to give you something free that's going to help you out. You can download below our free guide on how to get your home ready to sell in 30 days or less. We'll walk you through all the details. It's a checklist. It's very specific, and it will be so helpful for you. Now, wait for it. The first one is, it's a big one. It's a welcome mat. I know that sounds crazy. Stay tuned for more. But how many times have you walked up to a home that there either wasn't a front door mat or it was really old and worn out, looked like it had been there since day one, and it just really, it was surprising. You have this beautiful home maybe, but this worn out welcome mat. So super simple, super easy. Sometimes people just forget about it. A brand new, nice welcome mat. And if you have a large entryway, make sure that it fits that size. Don't get a tiny little mat, if you have a large porch or something. And so that's just a super simple, easy fix.
And another part to this is having the updated hardware on your door and even the light fixtures, because over time, the sun can really, take the polish off of it, and it just looks at it and it looks bad.
Well, those things, sometimes the patina gets really old, and it's just one of those things that as we live in a home, sometimes we forget about. We just don't notice much anymore. It's amazing how something so inexpensive can really, it's almost like jewelry on a house. That light fixture or light fixtures around the house even, but especially at the front door, and then the doorknob. And something else, when the sun's beating down on that front door, a lot of times that front door will need to be either repainted or restained, because the sun can really wreak havoc, especially on the wooden doors that we have a lot of around here in Flower Mound.
Which leads into another issue, is making sure you have the front entry, the sidewalk, and the walkway all power washed, because just having that is going to really kind of freshen it up, because we get all accustomed to the way we've been living, how things have gotten over time.
Well, and living for us in the pathway of DFW Airport, we noticed that our driveway and sidewalks can get really black and dark, I guess, from the stuff coming off the planes. And you don't notice it really, you just get used to it. But that's just something that's very minor it's an easy fix that makes such a big difference. And one of the things that really, we were talking earlier about our home, when we first came to see it, we could barely see the house because the front trees had grown up into the walkway, and the bushes were probably original to the house. And they were so tall, even though they'd been trimmed, they were so tall, they were like halfway up the windows. And they were so old that half of the leaves had fallen off, and they were just dated, and they just made the house look so dated and old, and you really couldn't see the beautiful architecture of the house. And that to me is something so simple, is just trimming back the trees so that you can see the beautiful home, trimming back the hedges. That's just a big difference right there as well.
It truly does, because just, by having the trees trimmed in and of itself really opens the house up. And in our case, getting the 2 big crepe myrtles out of the way, which was really hiding the house. And once we did that and, replaced the other bushes, it really shows totally different. And you actually can really enjoy the beautiful architecture of the home. So another part of this, of, the curb appeal, is just having fresh mulch. I've been to all different price ranges of homes, all the way up into the luxury market. If they would just done some fresh mulch, it just really shows, hey, the homeowner really cares about their home, and it really gives that first impression. And it's such a cheap and easy fix to do, just by freshening that up, and also just having some, plants, whether they're potted and strategically placed around there, just to really bring some beauty to the area. It really just makes a really great first impression.
Sometimes just that pop of color really helps.
Mhm.
Either some potted plants by the front door or even out front, just planted in the flower beds can make such a big difference. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. And something else that I think a lot of homeowners just don't think about is having the windows washed, having those sparkly, shiny windows when you pull up. You know, people, potential home buyers may not pull up and see, oh, they have dirty windows. But it's just one of those things that they notice being, oh, overall, it just looks dirty and sad.
In fact, one stat that I heard from the National Association of Realtors saying that basically by having the windows washed, it reduces the repair request once you go under contract by about 15%.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, big deal as far as reducing a lot of headache and hassle and money with that. Now, this next one probably seems pretty elementary, but I'm going to go ahead and say it regardless, is go ahead and make sure your yard is freshly cut and, edged and really looking good, crisp and sharp, because that really sets the tone for the showing.
Yes, and something else I kind of wanted to go back to, you were talking about power washing the front entryway. Something that's really big, you've told me so many times, when you go to open up the door for buyers that are standing there, they're waiting for you to get in the key box and get the door open. They're standing there looking at everything in that entryway. And if there's cobwebs and just dirt, it just gives that's just such a big first impression. And they may not say, oh, it looks dirty out here, but it's just that mental awareness of the psychology. Oh, it looks dirty out here. I wonder what else they might not have kept up with.
Yeah, and that's just such a huge first impression of a house that a homeowner is trying to sell. That's got to be really on spot of how that presentation looks for that home. Individually, these items may not feel like they're a really big deal, but everything added up together, it really does, and it's going to really change how that buyer feels about the house.
When your home looks cared for on the outside, the buyers are going to assume that it's cared for on the inside. It's such a psychological thing. When they see the least little thing that they think, oh gosh, it hasn't been taken care of. It's just the small things that make the biggest deal. People assume they have to go spend a lot of money on curb appeal, and sometimes we say curb appeal, but like, what does that mean? So we wanted to be really specific to show you this, but you don't have to spend a ton of money to do these small things.
And all these things definitely add up to higher perceived value, which is going to increase the amount of showings you get, the number of offers that you get, and also a higher sales price.
If you're getting your house ready to sell in Flower Mound, you'll want to watch our next video, Preparing Your Flower Mound Home to Sell, 3 Easy Steps. It builds on this and shows you exactly how to get market ready with confidence.